Now let's talk about WOOFi a little bit, because I know you guys, Woo Network has also tried to be tapping more into the DeFi space. So how is WOOFi differentiated from other decentralized exchanges? Like what are your competitive advantages, or what are the things that you're trying to do differently?
Yeah, this is a good question. So I think maybe the best way to frame this is by looking at the sort of the landscape of DeFi. And if we think of it as that there are almost now, I think, more than 180 different decentralized exchanges that operate in DeFi. It's like it's growing and it's growing and it's growing. And what you'll find is that most of these DEXs, right? They are typically powered by automated market makers. So they're essentially using smart contracts to like provide 24/7 liquidity for the buying and selling of their assets, right? That is, I would say, most of DEXs in DeFi. There are some who use an RFQ model. What they're doing is they're essentially getting quotes from professional market makers, which is happening off chain. And what these DEXs are doing is they're bridging it on chain, and they're connecting essentially users with professional market makers. And then there's WOOFi, which actually has its own model, which we call SPMM. Which stands for Synthetic Proactive Market Making. And it sounds nerdy, but it's actually super exciting. And what it's essentially doing is our WOOFi is simulating the liquidity of our centralized exchange, WooX. So you can imagine on a centralized exchange like WooX, what we have is like really deep aggregated liquidity, right? What WooX does is we have liquidity coming from Cronus, who is like the market maker behind WooX. They're moving like, let's say 5 billion a day. Loads of liquidity is coming from there. We're also aggregating liquidity from exchanges. So think of big name exchanges. This is where it's flowing from. What we're doing is we're redirecting that liquidity straight into DeFi. And I think this is super exciting because the difference between an AMM and, let's say, our SPMM liquidity is that you're getting essentially CeFi grade pricing on those swaps, right? So whilst you may be able to go to a DEX that's powered by an MMM, and you can swap basically any coin, or let's say like it's a meme coin, it could be a shit coin, whatever it is, you can swap it because it provides liquidity for thousands of coins. The difference is that WOOFi provides liquidity for a select number of coins. It's much smaller, but on those assets, what you'll get is extremely better price execution, right? And that's especially attractive for someone who's a trader who moves large amounts of volume every day. That you'll get much less slippage, and you could be saving essentially vast amounts of money with WOOFi.
But I think essentially the slippage or the price will not be able to compete with centralized exchanges, at least for now.
Well, the funny thing is, right? So the pricing on WOOFi, let's say you're buying Matic, and you're buying that through WOOFi. The price for Matic it will be exactly the same that it is on WooX. The only difference would be that you're having to pay the gas fee, right, on top of it. But the thing is, again, with WOOFi, we're constantly striving to innovate and find new ways to, let's say, let you keep more of what you earn. And Kevin, who is the lead for WOOFi, who sadly couldn't be here today, has come up with he's come up with a really interesting strategy where he's essentially made it possible for us to slash gas prices in half. We're calling this SPMM V2. And it's essentially going to be a new chapter in the history books of Woo, where essentially our pricing is about to get even more competitive. So it still won't be in line with the exact prices that you'll find on a KEX because of the gas, but we are slowly working our way to like getting that gas as small as it can be. I wonder if in the future this is. What are you gonna say, Meina?
When?
So this SPMM V2 is going to go live literally on Monday, and this is super exciting because it will be in line with our next big launch, where we're moving further into the Ethereum ecosystem. So we'll be launching on Arbitrum, which is obviously like a real hotspot at the moment. I don't know if you've been following Arbitrum, Meina, but the ecosystem has become a real hotspot.
Yeah, of course I have been following Arbitrum.